Hey guys, Level Cap here with some more Battlefield gameplay. Yeah, this is my second post today because I just played this round and it was freaking perfect. I go perfect with the helicopter, and so does my brother Sam, who's gunning for me. We don't die once. I think he gets about 30 and 0, and then he gets booted from the server because people think he's hacking because they can't possibly fathom how he got 30 and 0. I mean, nobody even checks to see what he's been doing. They just look at the score and click the boot button. But anyway, think of this as your intermediate chopper tutorial. This is not learning to fly. This is more, you know how to do the basics of maneuvering the helicopter. Now this is how to engage the enemy. And what I have equipped is air-to-air missiles, the infrared flares, and stealth, so that it takes longer for guys to lock on. And the combination of stealth and infrared flares make me almost invulnerable to lock on weaponry. I mean, not completely, but as long as there's only one guy trying to shoot me down at a time, I can almost indefinitely prolong his ability to actually hit me with a rocket. So it's very effective, and the helicopter has become so much more resilient to lock on fire. It is still very vulnerable to anti-air chain guns like the anti-air tanks and the anti-air base defenses. Alright, now I wanted you guys to be able to actually hear the audio and feel like you're in the game a little bit more. And you will hear my brother Sam talking to me. And like a freaking noob, I set up my own voice recording settings incorrectly because Battlefield in-game voice is not push to talk, and I had to set up to record whenever I push to talk, and since I wasn't pushing, it didn't record my voice. So you can hear Sam like reacting to what I say and calling out targets to me. And it's very important to have a highly communicative chopper team. You know, you gotta point out things, you gotta let... As a pilot, I have to let the gunner know what I'm gonna do. Like, if I'm gonna go strafe a target, I have to say I'm gonna go strafe the guys in front of me so he can turn his gun around and stop focusing on something he might have been focusing on. If he sees a target that I don't know about, that's something I should be going for, he can point that out to me and say, it's to your left, to your right, there's 3 guys on the ground, whatever it is, and I can react to what he sees, he can react to what I sees. Now, for the most part this round, I'm calling out helicopters and jets. Sam's a pretty good gunner, so he has no problem with getting tons of hits on helicopters, and he even takes down a few jets from the gunner position. I mean, he's just beasting it up this round. We both are. And I definitely have to change my opinion from the beta. Once a helicopter unlocks infrared flares, you're basically on your way to becoming an incredibly effective killing machine. But it's very hard to do solo. You need a good team. In Bad Company 2, you could do a bit more solo pilot because your rockets were very good at killing infantry. In this, they're not quite as good, so you're a little bit more limited. And helicopters can definitely be taken out by other helicopters with a gunner much more easily now. So you really have to have the complete team to be good in the helicopter. Now these air-to-air missiles are actually quite effective at taking out jets. I just disabled that guy there. I was like, hey Sam, you want the vehicle kill? So he turns his head and takes out the falling jet right there. Now for those of you who haven't unlocked air-to-air missiles, it's pretty easy to use them. You just hit 2, which switches you over to air-to-air, and those can lock on, and then you just left click and you can fire 2, and then it has to reload your next volley of air-to-air missiles before you can fire again. After you fire 2, you can hit 1 to quickly switch back to your pod rockets again and take out ground targets, or continue shooting at air targets. I think there's a chopper this round where I'm just having a pain in the ass time trying to lock onto him. I think he has stealth and countermeasures, so I just switch to regular rockets and take him out no problem. Now, as a helicopter, you have to employ hit and run tactics. If you're going to be sitting still or not maneuvering highly, make sure you're back away from battle and you're kind of observing things. you, for the most part, don't want to be sitting still because you're going to be an easy target for a good jet pilot. I'm not talking about lock-on missiles, but his minigun. If you're sitting still, he's going to destroy you with his jet gun. So try not to ever sit still. And when you attack, you go in, you get the kills you're looking for, or you make a straight, and then you either pull out or go for another target. Try not to stay in one place for too long. Guys get used to it, they'll spawn with something to take you out, and if you're not there, then they'll forget about you, and you can again get the jump on them by making another strafe run on them. Now, as a helicopter pilot, your biggest enemies are pretty much jets and other helicopters. So, although you're probably one of the most effective weapons against ground targets, you have to always keep your eyes to the sky. So after you make a ground run, turn your nose back up to the air and check out what's going on. Are there jets attacking you? Are there more helicopters coming in? So you have to be aware of what's going on in the sky. You can't just have your nose to the ground taking out the ground targets, as much fun as that can be. And once you get air-to-air targets, you almost get eager to look for jets and helicopters because, as you'll see, we take out quite a few jets this round, and those are with my air-to-air missiles and some help from Sam's gunning too. And we become quite an effective weapon against jets. There you go, some air-to-air rockets against a Havoc right there. No problem. And I even finished him off with some regular rockets there. That's a switch up that I'm enjoying right now, is firing 2 air-to-air missiles. Depending on what hits him or whatnot, I always switch back to one and follow those up with some regular rockets if the situation permits. Alright, now I want to talk to you guys about one of the biggest causes of death and the biggest problems I find with impatient and or newbie pilots is overcommitting yourself to a target. You get an idea in your head that you really want to kill this guy, or you see some guy off in the distance and you just gotta make a beeline for him, or you gotta go straight for him, you gotta commit until he's dead. And that's a really bad idea, and I'm guilty of this. Even now, I'll do stupid things, and it's usually when I'm bored or something. But you don't want to get too close into the enemy lines. Pay attention to where the bad guys are on the battlefield. If there's like a front line with a lot of baddies behind it, and you're like, oh man, that's a whole lot of easy kills if I can just get in there. Well, you're basically exposing yourself. You're putting yourself in front of your army. And as a helicopter, you really want the enemy to be focused on your teammates on the ground, and you want to be the afterthought as you come swooping in at the last second taking out targets. This is not like a tactic for sort of using your team as meat shields, but it's basically what the helicopter is. The helicopter is not a tank. You're not supposed to absorb fire. You're not supposed to attract fire. You're supposed to come in when the enemy's not expecting you and blow up a tank, blow up a building, do a strafe run with the gunner, and take out a whole bunch of infantry. Now, as you can see here, whenever I get a lock on, I always pull out of the combat area because relying on your gunner or yourself to be able to kill the target locking onto you before he can get a rocket off and shoot you is a really bad strategy. It's great if the gunner can take out, say, a Stinger missile guy before he gets that shot off on you, but you never want to rely on it. So once you start getting that lock, work on pulling out of combat. And of course, if you have stealth and flares, you basically can use that to buy you time to get out of combat, but you don't want to be in a situation where you're just being constantly locked onto. The stealth and flares is basically countermeasures to buy you time. It's not something to make you invincible. It's just buying you time, and with that time bought, you don't want to spend it looking for the guy locking onto you. You want to spend it getting out of the action area. Your gunner can look for the guy. As a pilot, you gotta get out of here. Yeah, it looks like we got bumped pretty bad there. And I think we were actually getting nudged by enemy jets a bit in this. I'm not sure if perhaps they adjusted collision or something, but I've noticed every now and then it feels like we're just like getting rammed by a car. Like we're in an actual car crash or something, but there's no damage done, so I'm not really sure what it is. It could be lag. And I love these anti-air missiles because if the guy is out of flares or if he's just not pulling it off right, you get these kills like 10 seconds later, or like a vehicle disable. So I mean, the jet's like long gone and you got these two rockets flying after him and it disables him, and it's pretty rewarding to see those points pop up on your screen like after you've already like forgotten about him. Now, as a pilot, I am spotting a lot for the gunner. I think spotting might work a little bit easier as the pilot. I think you might have like a bigger brush, if you will, in which you have to like be spot on for targeting. So I'm hitting the Q and guys are popping up and Sam's taking them out. Sam is also spotting for me. And like right there, you know, I just hit Q and 3 guys appeared on the dock, and so we go in and Sam takes them all out. Now as for spotting, you're not going to want to, you don't just spot guys that you see. You see fire or action in an area and you will spot in that general area. Check that out. Sam did a ton of damage. Sam just killed the jet right there with just using the gunner. I didn't hit him at all, so that's a pretty awesome kill for him. But yes, again with spotting, you spot in an area where you think there might be guys. If there's an area between 2 control points and you're like, there's probably some infantry running between those 2 control points, hit the Q button. It doesn't cost you anything. So you can't spam it. It gives you that little beepy thing and then you can't use it for a little while. But use it, you'll find the correct interval in which to use it, and you just want to use it a lot. Like, it's just so incredibly helpful, and for your team as well. It's not just about getting kills for you, it's about getting your team doing better, being able to get kills. And check that out, I switched from anti-air rockets because I know it's not going to lock on, and I'm able to get a few hits with my regular rockets, and then Sam finishes them off. And again, retreating from battle. Even though we took out the helicopter there, we got a lock on us, so I gotta get out of here. And something's got a really good lock on us because I'm all the way behind the aircraft carrier and it's still locking. I can't figure out if it's a jet. There's a jet right there. But okay, so with flares, you don't want to hit the X button or whatever your button for deploy flare is when the lock comes up. You want to wait until you start getting that higher pitched sound, which indicates that there's a lock and the missile has been fired at you. Because if you deploy countermeasures after the missile has been fired, you can deflect the rocket still. And I don't know what I just did there. I think I just decided to ram him. See how the collision worked in Battlefield there. But yes, as far as countermeasures, you want to get as much time out of each flare as you can because you have a certain period of time in between each flare that you can deploy. So you want to use it at the last possible moment that you can. So you want to wait until the lock is on and preferably a missile has been launched, like now. You definitely want those countermeasures fired now, and then the missiles break off target. Whoever was shooting at you now has to reload their missiles and reacquire a lock and then fire again. So you've just bought yourself a lot of time if you wait till somebody's already fired rockets at you. And who's ever locking onto me right now is actually being very effective at keeping me from engage. And you'll see right there, Sam is no longer my gunner, because somebody said, what? 30-0, and they decided to ban him from the server. And that just goes to show you, admin, regular player, whoever, there's so many freaking noobs out there, and just because you're an admin does not mean that you have like some sort of understanding of the game. I mean, anyway, I could rant on it, but I'm basically like bitching to these guys now, like explaining that he was my chopper gunner. Why the hell did you ban him? Of course nothing comes of it. God forbid an admin will ever like go back on one of his decisions. You know, it's like, I banned him, but you know what? It was completely for a stupid reason, and even though I've been proven wrong, I'm still gonna keep him banned because I have some weird sense of like nerd pride or something. I don't know how it works. Anyway, Sam's pissed off because, as you can imagine, 30 kills worth of helicopter unlocks and all that stuff is not always that easy to get. So, you know, kind of a rotten way to end a perfect round for both of us. I think I went 16-0, Sam went 30-0, and then I just landed on the carrier for the end of the round because I was bitching to these guys. Alright guys, I know you wanted to see Demivon peak, base jumping and all that stuff, and that was basically what I said was going to be the first footage of Battlefield 3, and I do have some footage of that. It's not quite as epic as I want it to be, but I'll do some more recording, and hopefully tomorrow I can get some footage of that for you guys. So if you're new to my channel, or if this is the first video of mine that you've watched and you like it and you want to see more, because there's plenty more Battlefield 3 content coming, please hit the subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up if you like it. And that about does it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.